the job here is to take people through an experience, to take them into their minds, to take people to find what they're really looking for in life, to find actual happiness, and to know from their own experience that it really is inside their own minds. So at the moment we've just finished a 3-month Snows retreat. We've all gone through an incredibly unique process together that's quite beyond words, and that takes time, I think, just to gently process. So we're just having a nice transition phase at the moment.
We know each other for many years. It's quite funny. And it's just amazing being able to talk and share with this and laugh together and thank people for like, oh, you inspire me so much. There are some people who are like always doing prostration and mandala. And when you feel very like it's nothing working for you, you just focus on them. And they will carry you through the retreat. It's just amazing. And then just go there and thank them so much. And they don't realize it at all what they were doing.
I used to meditate just in the classes, but I never feel something in my heart, really something in my heart. To feel better, to love the meditations, but I never really feel. So here you can come much deeper the feeling, and you can have the experience in your heart. So it was wonderful for me to have this new experience than in the daily life. It was the best experience in my life. I have learned a lot of Dharma. I live Dharma all the time. I could practice Dharma all the time, so it was wonderful. It's going to change my life, you know.
And, you know, like such a sort of harmonious place. It's got like such great energy here, and it feels blessed and protected. You know, you feel very close to the Guru, you know, to Geshe, so much of this time. And you can, you know, even though you might, you know, encounter a lot of difficulties, like trying to tame our sort of unruly minds, you just feel this like deep layer of protection, sort of, you know, protecting us and, you know, guiding us through those difficult times.
There's so much to gain from being within these conditions, and you always gain some level of insight to really see what's maybe not obvious in your everyday life because we're so busy distracting ourselves and avoiding certain aspects of ourselves that we don't like. But if we've got the courage just to face them, to come and have a look at our own mind, while we have the map of Buddha's teachings and advice to follow to really show us how to maneuver past what feels immovable obstacles in our mind.
It was great. It was a bit difficult. Had some obstacles coming up, but like they started off, it felt like obstacles, problems, and then they turned into like Dharma jewels, and it was really beautiful seeing the transformation of the mind and seeing that problem after a while it's not a problem anymore. It's good fun to deal with it, and you learn so much. because you're constantly confronted and you're constantly mindful, and it's such a precious opportunity to really see what's going on in your mind. And
we also get to experience how close enlightenment is for us. You know, it's it's not that far away. It becomes like the idea of enlightenment becomes a lot more tangible than just mere words. You know, at times it can be like, you know, it's like heaven. You know, experiencing heaven. There's one time I was just having such a beautiful day, and like in the Kadampa, the sun was shining through these big windows here, and you know, just everything about my day that day was like heaven, and I even kind of wrote some poetry about it, you know, describing my experience of Kadra heaven. And I don't even write poetry, but these kind of experiences happen. It just makes you show that everything's possible, and the Pure Land's not some faraway place, and it's just an experience of the mind. And really those experiences of deep inner peace, gives us fuel for our Dharma practice. We know what we've experienced. We've experienced something, and it's completely achievable, for everyone.
Especially for the longer retreats, I think people feel they need to be at a kind of a level already in their spiritual life, and I think it just feels, from my experience and from what the feedback we've had here, it seems more like people just have to have the wish and the courage that they want to actually explore their mind and to really want to improve themselves, and then trust that the conditions will take them there.
I felt like I was at the point where I really wanted to make some deep progress. So I think to do that you have to give yourself the right conditions. We've all got potential to really flourish, I think, in Dharma, and if you give yourself the right environment to do that, I think you can really make some real progress. The silence makes you see things in a different way, I think. For me, the main thing was that, or at least one of the main things, was that silence really gave you the space to really think about who you are, actually. Getting some confidence that the person that I am is up to me, actually. I have this, once you have some confidence in your ability to move your mind, you can start to decide who you are. And in the silence, that's what really gives you the space to do that, to learn how to do that. I think you have to be a little bit brave to go into retreat, to really be looking at what's going on in your mind. So I think to have the confidence to do that, you really have to feel like there's somebody there to look after you. And the team here have just been so incredibly supportive, really. You just feel so cared for that you can really let go and delve into the depths of your mind for a while.
Every retreat you do, you don't regret. You don't regret, like it almost feels like there's nothing else that we could be doing that could be more meaningful than this, that could make such a powerful impression on our mind. And and I've been challenged coming to Tharpaland sometimes. There's always been something outside that's, or a few things that I feel I could be doing otherwise in this retreat. But when you make a decision to come, it always feels like absolutely the right one.
But also that you don't have to dive in at the deep end. Do a short retreat if you're not sure. Come for a weekend and do a weekend of silence, or come for a month, and then maybe 3, then maybe 3 years.
Yes, my name is Kelsang Gyatso, and I've been doing solitary retreat for most of the last 2 years, and my intention is simply to stay here. So far I've been doing the great preliminary guides, been doing Vajrasattva, which just made such a big difference to my meditations. Yeah, it's miraculous the way things open up in your mind, and the sort of realizations come. And they come gently. I mean, I think a lot of people, when they think about realizations, they're expecting kind of flash of lightning, and it's not like that. You just gently realize, oh gosh, is that really my mind that's doing that? I just love everybody to be able to come here and experience the things that I've been experiencing. Happily, Tharpaland here is about to be extended. They're going to renovate another of the buildings. It could change so many people's lives.
We have a very exciting project coming up. While we have silent retreats on, there will be a place in the Red House where people can live, talk, and there will be public Kadampa for GP classes to continue while we have silent retreats. There will be day courses, etc. So people can just live there like in any other Dharma center while we have silent retreats here in the castle. Inside it's a mess at the moment. Everything has to be redone.
So as you can see, this was a little kiddies bathroom, and it's going to be our second entrance, so there's going to be a new staircase coming up, and we'll have to do some serious breaking through and smashing. And this is going to be our future Kadampa. And we're going to have our resident kitchen in here for the first floor.
I suppose building temples has always been a very special thing for me. And the more I've been doing it, the more I realize the benefit for myself. And I'm doing this for myself in a way, because I don't feel like I'm so greatly needed to do all these things. I feel like I need this, If you understand how this is actually your training in mindfulness, alertness and concentration, and how actually through this you can train your mind, then it just becomes beautiful, It just becomes your practice. You haven't got time to spend hours in meditation, so you've got to make it your practice. And even things like building work, rough building work, becomes actually can become a very light and joyful thing, very enjoyable thing. You're part of Geshe's vision, and you get the blessings. That's what the joy comes from, isn't it? And I can see that the more I experience the retreats, the more and more I see people going in and coming out, the more I realize, this is so important to have a place like this. And that inspires me, and that just wants me to work for the center and keep doing building work, It's such a special opportunity, not just from the karmic point of view, creating all these beautiful courses for people to come here, to be able to practice Dharma, to live here, but also just be able to work in such a beautiful environment, do this kind of work, but in a very peaceful, serene environment, So it's a great opportunity for people to come and just, learn by doing. What I mean by that is learn how to apply the Dharma whilst you're working, For me, it's my spiritual path. That's what it is. I just know it. But I wasn't planning to do it, and I wasn't thinking I'm going to end up doing it. All I wanted to do was learn to meditate.
Even if you've got a smallest wish to come here, just do it. Just come. Just come and dive into the experience. You'll definitely never regret it. Life-changing. Really simply life-changing.